Did Greg stay home today too?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. So he did all the shoveling and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I shoveled a little bit out the back, but mostly there was so much that he just did. He just used the snowblower, even in inside the yard.
Yeah, John did too.
It was pretty funny though when I opened the door to let the dogs go out, and it was like they'd been out at 6 a.m. And then they hadn't been out since then. And so it was like 8 o'clock, and I opened the door, and Vivi's so excited to be going outside. She's like climbing on the door or the window, you know, doing this and everything.
Yep.
I'm like, are you ready? Are you ready? I open the door. She takes off about 90 miles an hour, head first into a snowbank. She just like boom, 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 and then she like shot backwards. I felt really bad, but I was also laughing really hard.
That's really funny. Yeah.
And she was like, what the fuck was that?
In a minute.
It's hard to see the depth, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
She had a little struggle. And then she was like, well, I guess that's as far as I get to go.
She's like, and we're done here.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, she came down good. And it's crazy because last night John and I were like, this is gonna be nothing. Because it said it was supposed to start at like 4.
Yeah.
Nothing. Until we were going to bed. And I'm like, this is some bullshit. Like, what the fuck? And then we woke up this morning and
yeah.
It's all she wrote, folks.
Yep. I thought it was funny yesterday. A lot of my friends on Facebook were complaining. They're like, why is everybody such a pussy? This is nothing. And I'm like, you guys, it hasn't even started yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to start this afternoon. So just zip it until we know what's happening.
Yeah.
Do not jinx us.
Yep.
But I mean, it's pretty. I have to say, looking at it out the window and everything, it was pretty. And at least it wasn't very cold. Now, tomorrow's going to suck because tomorrow's going to be super, super cold.
I know. But it's going to be great. And it'll all freeze. And I love everything about this.
At least the snow that I shoveled anyway today was fairly light.
Okay.
It wasn't like the heart attack snow, you know? It was pretty light.
Heart attack snow.
Heart attack. Amy said a word funny in my episode tonight.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Was it hard attack?
Cautious. No, it's cautious. No. Was it caution? Conscious. I think it was conscious. I don't know. Why is Vivi downstairs? I'm going to text Greg and ask him to keep the dogs upstairs.
Dearest Gregory, could thou be so kind and keep our baby puppy upstairs? Oh, did you see Bruce Willis was diagnosed with some dementia?
Yeah, I saw that. That's sad. I hadn't heard that. I'd heard like there was a blind item, in those gossip column things I read occasionally. And it was about somebody we all love who is battling with early onset dementia. And I always read the comments, which are people guessing who it is. And a lot of people guessed him. And I was like, oh, that would be really sad. That was like a year ago.
Yeah. I read a statement by his family and they said it had started a year ago. And then they just got the diagnosis in the last couple of months.
Oh, yeah.
So.
He's probably had some symptoms for a while.
And the way that the statement made it sound was he was going downhill pretty quickly.
Oh, yikes. Oh, that's so sad. He's always liked him.
Young.
Yeah, he is young. He's young for that.
I mean.
But, Alzheimer's can hit anytime. I'm going to start this with this way I start every sentence, but I follow this lady on TikTok who
as you should. Mine is I saw this on TikTok.
Yeah. I don't think I follow this woman, but she pops up in my feed all the time. Once I follow people, they don't pop up in my feed anymore. So I don't follow anybody.
Yeah.
Except for like Mama Todd,
I do.
Elise Myers, and there's like 4 people I follow, but everybody else, and they still show up in my feed. But,
I usually do follow them if it's a clay artist, because then I'll get more clay videos in my feed, and that's what I want, and not the dead baby ones that I keep hitting not interested in. And I'm like, Stop fucking showing this to me.
I got one yesterday, a couple days ago, that was all hating on trans people. And I'm like, what the fuck? How did I get here?
How did you get there?
Because I follow a bunch of trans people and actually follow, like Dylan.
Yeah.
I follow her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that was. I'm like, how do I know? No.
I know. I was doing, scrolling, and you know how sometimes if you hit it wrong, you get over to like all the people who are alive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it was like a mega guy. And I'm like, no, get out.
I mostly don't like the lives just because they're just
either.
Somebody going like this, reading the comments.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything.
The people sleeping.
Yeah. Well, especially the one that had the creepy dolls that were moving
all the time. And it's like people sleeping in a room with like strobe lights and loud music going. And I'm like, so you just set up a camera to do this? Like, what's the point of this?
Some people might like that.
I guess. I don't know. That's true. Anyway, I'm sorry. Back to your lady on TikTok.
No, I did that too. But no, there was a woman I saw on TikTok who has dementia. Or is it dementia or Alzheimer's? I mean, I know they're kind of the same thing, but
I think Alzheimer's is a form of dementia.
Yeah.
Like all Alzheimer's is dementia, but not all dementia is Alzheimer's.
Right. That sounds right. Yeah. And
follow us, we're doctors.
Once again. So she's young. I mean, I don't know exactly how old she is, but she looks to be 35 to 40. And she was doing a Q&A about what it feels like to have dementia. And she was saying, like,
probably scary as
first of all, you think everyone is gaslighting you because you don't remember stuff and people tell you did something and you're like, I didn't fucking do that.
Yeah.
And so you think everyone's lying to you. And
it's funny because you don't think about it from their perspective. You just think, oh, the family, how awful to have to watch your loved one deteriorate. And it is. But you also, and at least not me, I never really thought about it from the other side. Yeah. Like you slowly stop recognizing everybody.
It's got to be terrifying.
Oh,
but God. I liked the post, or I saved the post maybe because I want to make sure I see her again. I'm really curious about the stuff she had to say. It was fascinating.
That sounds really interesting.
Super interesting. Yeah.
It's like when you find someone with Tourette's.
Oh, yeah. I used to follow a whole bunch of Tourette's people, and I hardly see them anymore.
I liked her a lot.
Which one?
The witchy Tourette's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She bakes with her daughter and like throws the eggs.
Yep. And the Holly with Tourette's. She had short brown hair.
Yeah. She would do like
reading
fairy tales and stuff.
Yes. Reading poem.
And then go, he was a sucker.
Snow White, she's a slut. Yeah. I saw a TikTok, and
we should just have a podcast that calls that's called I follow this lady on TikTok.
And Louis Capaldi, who's a singer, has Tourette's, and it was the sweetest video because he was performing and he started having tics. And he couldn't sing anymore, and the audience finished the song for him. Like they knew it so well that they finished it.
Oh,
I thought it was so sweet.
That's cute.
I teared up. Little PMS, but
well,
it was really sweet.
It's interesting that people with Tourette's and people who stutter, sometimes when they're performing, when they're singing or something, they don't have it. It doesn't happen. And
maybe it's because they're not thinking about it. They're thinking about the crowd or whatever. And I am in no way trying to put myself in their shoes. I just want to, I'm just hypothesizing. I have no idea.
I don't know either. But yeah, it might just be because it's like with stuttering anyway. I used to work with a guy who stuttered, and if he was thinking about what he wanted to say, it didn't come out. But if he was just like reciting something he already knew, it was fine.
Yeah, maybe because he was more aware of it when he was thinking about it.
Yeah, I think so.
And like focused on it.
Yeah.
Again, I have no idea. But
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to my FYP, but it's not Tourette's anymore. And it was just really interesting to follow those people.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that they could pick up other Tourette's
I know. Yeah, because I was watching somebody that I see all the time. And then someone else started doing her tics.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, that's not the girl that does this. It's really weird.
Yep.
Our brains are so weird.
They're
Fascinating.
so fucking weird.
Oh, I don't know if I've told you about the girl that, or maybe you follow her or see her too, but she does brain training. She's really cute. She wears glasses and she's got brown hair and it's short on one side and a big floppy curls over here. Anyway, she's a neurologist or something like that, and she does brain training, how to train your brain. Fascinating.
Okay, well now I should find her.
I'll send you her because next time she shows up in mine probably every day. So
yeah,
I'll send it to you next time.
Yeah,
really, really interesting about like how to talk to yourself, what things to say to yourself,
really,
so that your brain starts to.
That is interesting.
It like reprograms your brain. Yep.
Wow.
Really interesting. Really cool.
Anyways,
anyway,
should 20 minutes later, should we get to the show?
At least start. I mean, we don't have to get started on the recap right away.
We haven't even started yet.
Oh, my mouse fell asleep. That's how long it's been.
That's how long we've been chatting. Wow.
Okay. All right. Script.
Yep.
Ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Ghosty fam. Welcome to the Activity Continues podcast. If you're new here, we are friends and soul sisters who recap episodes of the TV show The Dead Files. And let's be honest, we gab a lot about a lot of other shit, creepy and not. I'm Amy.
And I'm Megan, and thanks again for joining us. This week, Amy is recapping the Dead Files episode called Killing Fields. It is from season 10, and it's episode 12. And it originally aired on September 30th, 2011. So almost 12 years ago.
Isn't that crazy?
I know. So Amy, why don't you tell the folks why we're doing this or why you chose this one?
I picked this one because it was on my little note card. Perfect. Of all the ones that I really liked. Well, all the ones. Four. And we've covered all of the other ones. And it was the last one we hadn't covered yet. So
perfect.
I decided to do that next time. It's my turn. I don't know what I'm going to do. So if anybody if anybody has recommendations, hit us up and let us know which ones you'd like us to cover. Because, we've done a bunch. We've done, this will be 50. Well, this will be this is our 56th episode. Yeah. But for the first several in the beginning, we were doing 2 per episode. We were each covering one.
What were we thinking?
I know, my God.
I'm so glad we stopped doing that.
I know, I am too, because it gives each of us like a week kind of off in between. But also, God, those were getting long.
They were like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to listen to us talk that long.
No. And I try to cut out stuff, but every once in a while, I'm like, I'm going to cut this whole thing out. That wasn't that good. And then like you will say something hilarious and I'm like, well, I have to keep that. So I have to keep the whole thing. So,
What do you mean every once in a while I'll say something hilarious? Wow.
Yeah.
56 episodes.
Yeah.
The truth finally comes out.
I just mean when I want to
56 episodes, 9 years. I see how it is.
Anyway, so that's that. So is there anything else we need to cover?
I mean, aside from the hour-long TikTok conversation we just had.
Yeah. Let us know if you think we should start a podcast about the TikToks we like, because we could go on about that all day.
We could. Like, we were gabbing for close to 20 minutes, and then I'm like, shit, we should maybe start, like, the actual show. We didn't even
say hello yet.
No. And I swear, we talk to each other, like, all the time via text. So it's not like we haven't talked to each other in a long time. So.
And it's only been a week since we actually looked at each other. Yeah. So it's not like we're long lost or anything.
No. And we literally talk every single day.
Can you imagine if we lived together? Oh my we would like have sore throats from just talking.
It would
constantly.
Be like Rachel,
Oh, you guys, if you don't know, I have a friend who comes to visit every once in a while. And don't worry, she doesn't listen to podcasts. I've tried to get her to listen. She won't listen. And she talks nonstop.
Amy told me that Amy went upstairs to take a nap and she could hear in the living room downstairs talking.
Yeah.
To nobody.
It was New Year's Day and I was really hungover. And we were watching something on TV and she basically narrated the whole thing while we were watching it. And I was like, I'm hungover. I'm fucking crabby. I can't do this anymore. And I can't tell her to shut up. I just don't have that in me. So I'm like, I'm not feeling very well. I'm going to go up and lay down. And I'm laying in bed and I can hear her still talking to nobody. Yeah. Anyway.
So that would be us if we lived together.
Yeah.
To sum it up.
Yep. So
we have not played D&D again.
Oh, okay. I was going to
We're
ask.
scheduled to do it next week.
How's his head wound?
Where I hope we kill him off to be honest. John's kind of like in that he'll just like we'll be driving to my parents and he'll be in the front seat just talking, and I'm like,
who are you talking
to?
That's funny. I have never seen him do that, and I wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah, he takes a little bit to kind of like warm up and feel people out, but then he'll never fucking shut up. And like we'll be watching a show and he'll just be talking. I'm like, can you please shut up? I want to watch a movie. Shut the fuck up.
Oh,
but
boy.
I can't say that, you know.
I know. You just give him a death glare.
Yeah. I just am like, can you please stop? Like, I'm trying to actually watch this movie. The problem with him is that he loves watching movies. So he's seen thousands of movies.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, let's watch a movie together. And he'll be like, okay. And I'll be like, oh, this looks good. And he goes, it wasn't that good. And I'm like, okay, well, this one looks good. You know what? I really like that one. Can we watch a movie you haven't seen together?
How does he have time to watch all these movies?
Well, it's been going on for years. Like he signed up for the original Netflix account when they mailed DVDs to you.
Yep, I had that too.
So, and like when he lived in his apartment before the house, he didn't go anywhere because he was saving up money. So he literally would just watch DVDs. Like when he got home from work, he'd watch movies. On the weekends, he'd watch movies.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah. And I'm just like, so
yeah.
How much do you know how much snow you got in Snowmageddon 23?
I don't. I think that, I don't know right out here, like right in our yard, for example. I don't know. I would say at least a foot.
Yeah, I think most places in the metro got 16 inches, I think was what I was seeing.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I'm not really sure how much was right out here. It's hard to tell because it was blowing so much.
Blowing, yeah.
So like parts of it where the wind comes in and hits, it was not very deep. It was maybe 7 inches or something. But then there were other parts that were
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we all survived.
Yeah. Yep, we did.
Luckily, we have shovels and
snowblowers
and we were prepared. We knew it was coming.
That's the good thing is
no surprises.
Yeah. So anything else? What's going on with you guys?
Nothing. Nothing. Just a housekeeping note. I'm changing the show notes. I have been, if you guys are looking at our show notes, I don't know if anybody really is or not, but that's where all of our links are to, our merch and our sponsors and all of our socials and website and contact info and credits and content warnings and all that shit is in there. And it's just getting really, really long. And like Spotify only allows me to put in 4,000 characters and it's always more than that. And so I have to then weed it out and figure out what I'm going to put in there. So I decided, and looking at some other podcasts, they usually just have like, this week we're talking about blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's it. No links, no nothing. So I think from now on, I'm just going to do that, the blurb about what we're talking about. And then I'll links to anything that we talked about in the current episode. And then have a link to a page on our website that has all of the links. Okay. So I created a page on our website that has all of our links that anybody would need to know. And then it also has little bios on us.
Okay.
And then everything that's pertinent to that specific episode will be in the show notes.
Okay.
So they'll be a lot shorter.
Can I suggest doing content warnings in the notes too?
Yeah.
Just in case somebody doesn't want to even start it.
Right. Yeah. I'm keeping
because I know some episodes, or not some episodes, but some podcasts I listen to, it frustrates me if there's no, like, if there's a content warning and I have to listen like 20 minutes to get to it.
Yeah. I always assume that people don't read the show notes, but for content warnings, I think people do, or they should anyway. So those will stay in there for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Speaking of, what are our content warnings this week? Do we have any?
This week we are, buckle up, child death and murder in history. And I'm not
Very
gonna,
light.
I'm not going to go into details. And rape. Same
Great.
perp on both.
Look at you talking all copy.
I was going to say perpetrator, but I cut myself off.
I cut myself off.
Because I want to sound, like I know what the
Sophisticated.
hell I'm talking. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All
Is there
right.
anything else we need to do, or should we just dive right in?
I don't think there's anything else. Not
Okay.
that I can think of. So
Okay.
let's do it.
All right. Let's do it. I'm
3, 2, 1.
So, yeah, again, this is called Killing Fields, and it's season 10, episode 13 on Discovery Plus. This takes place in Springfield, Ohio. The client is Josh. He's a young adult. I want to guess he's mid-20s.
Okay.
And his parents still live in the house. He does not.
Mm-hmm.
So we first see Amy, and immediately she feels a lot of negativity. And she says it comes right into your gut.
Oof.
And she says this is not a good place for the living to be. And she said people try to fulfill their dreams, but the land won't let them. And she heard a guy say there will be only darkness for them.
Great
So,
start.
Starting out strong.
Yeah.
Yep. So now we see Steve. He's sitting down with Josh. This is the son who thinks that something is going after his mom.
Mm-hmm.
He feels like he's taking care of his parents now. He says, like, when you're growing up, your parents take care of you. He said, now it's my turn to take care of them. And he looks young, but he's really tall. Like,
Okay.
I was like, Steve actually looks short next to this guy. Because we did learn that Steve's kind of short.
Steve's kind of short, yeah.
But yeah, this guy's tall, big guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he says objects move on their own. There are footsteps, voices, shadows, apparitions, and now things are getting physical.
I want to get
Oh, Libby. So his mom has been pushed down the stairs. And one time he watched her fall. Her neck,
no.
she actually broke her neck. Her neck was broken.
She's still alive?
Mhm.
I didn't
Yep.
even know that was possible.
I didn't either. Is
she paralyzed?
No.
She is lucky. I didn't even know that
Very
was
lucky.
possible.
I know. She explains at the reveal, she explains more in detail what happened.
Okay.
I mean, what happened physically
Medically?
to her.
Yeah.
And it's,
Wow.
yeah, everybody's blown away.
Yeah.
She has other health issues, and she lists them all. And it's, I didn't write them all down, but like stomach stuff and anxiety and things like that. And then Josh says that she's only 50.
Oh my
And I'm
God.
like, holy shit, she's younger than me. And
Yeah.
she doesn't look old. She looks like my age, but all of that shit that's happening to her at a pretty young age is kind of astounding.
Yeah.
So,
and not really normal.
No. So Amy is now, they're outside. She hasn't gone into the house yet. She and Matt are outside. And she says some of the things here came from out there. And she's pointing into like the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And she said there's a creature there. He has a weird long neck, really skinny arms that are always up, and big round white blobs for eyes.
That sounds exhausting. Yeah, your arms
up all the time. I know. She said the living would feel its fear and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
She speaks of a young woman here, live woman, who has heart trouble due to the land thing. Now, this is going to be something about the land is the issue.
Okay.
And she says this creature is always growling and snorting, and it can do physical harm.
Don't like it.
I know.
Anytime anything growls, I'm like,
I know, because that's a get the fuck out of here sign.
Yeah.
With dogs, if they growl, you're like, okay, I'm out here.
We're beyond. Yeah. Like, that's like the final warning before
the strike
shit goes down. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. She also sees two shadow people. And as she's explaining this, she appears to be reading her notes. So I'm guessing this is something that appeared to her, like when she first opened, or when she's at the hotel, or when she was at home, or something like that. She says one shadow person was a living person at one time, and the other one was a shadow man, and both are connected to this strange creature. So far we have 3 entities.
We're like 2 minutes in.
I know. So Steve and Josh are in Josh's room. Josh says he saw this shadow figure, and Steve goes, how do you know it wasn't just a shadow of something or your shadow or something? He said, no, I could see my shadow. And then this was next to it. But this was like darker than dark. Like, you've heard people explain that, describe that before. Like a shadow person is like almost like a void.
A void.
It's not just a shadow, like a shadow of a regular person that would walk in, you'd see their shadow. And so he says that's what it's like. And this is where I wrote, that kid's really tall. He felt something breathing in his room. This is when he used to live there.
Yeah.
And he got slapped in the face while he was sleeping.
Oh my God.
And he thought perhaps he dreamed it, but then he got up and he saw finger marks on his cheek.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So he's afraid this is going to hurt his parents.
Yeah.
Good reason.
I would have the same thought.
So Amy is now in Josh's room, and she says this strange creature thing is hurting someone. She sees it in a bed grabbing someone, maybe a teenager, but he's getting hit really hard. And then she gets dizzy and scared, and she says, I just feel fear. And she thinks that something in here is being strangled. Now, Steve is talking to Connor, Josh's dad.
Okay.
And he agrees that his wife's health is bad and that he thinks it has something to do with the house. He said they've been to tons of doctors and no one can figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
She wakes up screaming.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The TV will just come on by itself. And he even rewired the house. So it's not that.
Yeah.
He says he's seen boots slide 3 to 5 feet across the floor.
Goodbye.
In my first, was it my first apartment? No, it wasn't my first apartment. One of my first apartments. There was something. I had cats, and the cats would always be watching and looking at stuff that I couldn't see.
Yep.
And one time I was sitting on the couch watching TV, and the remote control was sitting on the table. It was a big butcher block coffee table, huge. People would sit on it at parties. It was huge. And the remote control was sitting in the middle of the table, and I watched it just slide across and off the table.
I would have noped the fuck out of there.
It was really creepy.
What did you do?
I just went, what the fuck? And I was living alone, so I asked Misha, my cat, if she saw it.
She probably was like, we need to fucking leave.
Yeah. Well, she would be she used to jump up like she was playing with a toy with something, but there was nothing there. Yeah. We used to always say that she was playing with pixies.
Maybe.
Yeah. I was just playing with something.
Oh my God.
Yep. And I couldn't see it. But anyway, so then Steve asks to Connor, he says, why don't you just sell and get out of here? And he says that he doesn't feel like he could sell it knowing that it could hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And then he says to Steve, that's why you're here. No pressure though, Steve.
No pressure. Yeah.
So now Amy sees a living man watching a shadow person come through the wall and walking into the room.
Oh my God.
And I don't know what room we're in right now. I think there might be in Mom and Dad's room. But she says he's the one from outside and he can project as a shadow form.
Okay.
He doesn't like this place. And he says the living people have done him wrong. He says they're liars, cheats, and whores. Oof. And he has, and he has
the W word.
I know. And he has a personal grudge against them. And then Matt asks, how would he act on that? And she says, pushing, shoving, choking. He hates them and he wants to hurt them.
I wonder if he knew them, when he was alive.
I don't think so. I think what we find out is this is further back. He's just saying the people who.
Oh, anybody who is there. He doesn't like. It's not necessarily this family.
Right.
It's just anybody on the land.
Humans who have done something to the land. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So now Steve is talking to Beth. That's Josh's mom. And she agrees whatever is here is dangerous. She talks about being shoved down the staircase many times.
Oh my God.
She shows a photo of her leg all bruised up. And then she talks about when she fell and broke her neck too. And Steve, as Steve always does, you could have died. You know that.
Yeah, and Steve, thanks.
And she says, yeah, or paralyzed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she's walking. She's,
she's lucky.
She's not doing great, but she's not in a wheelchair.
Right.
So Now, Amy says that she gets somebody falling down, being shoved, and she says it's happened more than once. She thinks it's that creature from outside. He can make you feel dizzy or nauseous, and you can fall down because of that. But Beth said she was shoved. So I'm not sure about that. But did I ever tell you the story about my mom being shoved down in Scotland?
No.
Well, when we were in Scotland for my wedding, our wedding, I should say, husband was there too. But it was...
I would hope so.
But we were walking near Holyrood, which is the castle that the Queen used to go to. It's like her vacation home. And my mom's never, this is weird. She's a dance teacher, right? She's never been real light on her feet. Which
Not
is
graceful.
odd. But yeah, she's always been a little trippy, you know? And so we're walking across the street, and it's one of those like roundabout kind of weird things. And you're trying to get across fast before the cars come. And she fell. And she was wearing a camcorder. This is, back in 1998.
Right.
She was wearing a camcorder around her neck. She fell and like landed on the camcorder. She broke it. And it wasn't even hers. She borrowed it from somebody. Yeah, she ended up putting Band-Aids on it to hold it together until we got back home. Anyway.
Oh my God.
She falls and we're like, Mom, what the hell? And she said, I was pushed. And she was in the back. There was no one behind her. We were all in front of her.
Right.
I was pushed.
Plus, who would push your mom?
I know,
like, come on. Right. It's not like.
So we're like, Mom, nobody pushed you. And she goes, it was the ghost of Holyrood. So maybe it was. So we always joke that the ghost of Holyrood pushed my mom down in Scotland. She was fine, by the way. She just had a bruise in the shape of a camcorder on her chest. She was much younger then. So, she was okay. So, Steve, Beth says that she woke up the other day and just threw up for no reason. Like she just woke up nauseous and threw up. Steve asked for a rundown of her illnesses. This is where I have fibromyalgia, a blood disorder, a pericardial cyst in her heart.
That sounds serious.
I know. She said only 1 in a million people get this.
My God.
So then I Googled it. A pericardial cyst is a fluid-filled growth in the thin sac or pericardium that surrounds your heart. Usually, a pericardial cyst is congenital, meaning it's something you're born with. But she wasn't, I don't think. Pericardial cysts are usually about 3 to 5 centimeters in diameter. Some can be larger.
Can they remove it? I would
know.
think not.
That would be difficult without, nicking something that you need in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So she says she's seen a smoky brown mist go through the kitchen. And she's also seen a female apparition going through the kitchen. She says she's about 5 feet tall, white lady. She was solid, not see-through like you would think a ghost would be. And which is interesting because I think in one of our more recent ones, Amy said, people always think that an apparition is see-through. And a lot of times it's not. Right. It usually just looks like a person standing there.
Yep.
It's actually rare for him to be transparent.
Oh my God, that's creepy.
I know. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I have a lot of ghost stories today, I guess. In our old house, our uptown house.
The one that I was at?
Yeah. Okay. We had a carriage house out back and we had different people who lived there on and off. And 2 of the people who lived there said while they were sleeping, they woke up and there was a man standing at the end of their bed and it looked like a real person.
Right.
Like they thought someone had gotten in.
Right.
And then they chased him out and the door was locked. Yeah.
I would not be going back to bed that night or ever.
Neither of these tenants were worried about it. They were like, that was weird. I'm like, are you okay? Because
they're like on a scale of 1 to 10. That's not even the weirdest thing that's going to be today.
Right? I never slept over there, but I don't think I ever would. That would be it for me. And 2 different people saw it without knowing each other. Right. They didn't know each other at all. Right. And I didn't tell either of them the other story.
Well, what are you going to... Yeah. Hi, you want to rent our place?
Do you want to rent our place? It comes with a ghost.
You might see somebody standing over your bed. And if you chase him out, he'll vanish.
Yeah.
But I mean, internet's included. So
yeah. It was. And laundry. It was a really good deal.
It was, yeah.
And TV, direct TV. It was a great deal. Anyway, so Steve asks her what she thinks that this thing wants, and she said, I guess me, dead.
Jeez.
So he says to her, what's keeping you here? And she said they've been there for 18 years.
Mhm.
But she says, one more thing, and I'm out of here.
I wonder if it's been going on the whole time, or did it start?
I don't know. They didn't really talk
Yeah.
about that, or if they did, it was cut.
Mhm.
But she said she feels like it's not her home anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
Yeah.
Your home is where you are to be safe. If you're not
Right.
safe in your home, then
Right.
you know,
And it's time to move
skedaddle.
along. Yep. So Amy, she sees a dead woman in a gown, and she says this woman is a big threat. She's very sneaky and has been very bad. She says she's trying to sneak into someone, a living
Oof.
woman.
Like jump them?
Mm-hmm. She says she's going at it very subtly because everyone else is distracted by all the other phenomenon. So then Matt asks, why is she doing this? And she says she wants another life, a fair life. And then he asks what happens if she gets inside this person. And she said a lot of behavioral changes would happen, and the living woman would think she's going crazy.
Okay. Really quick, I just have to interject this because I've been mulling on it and it hasn't sat right with me.
Okay.
I think there's a mistake in the intro because it says season 10, episode 12 originally aired September 30th, 2011.
Yeah.
But if we're in season 15, that would be 12 years ago. So then I looked in the spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet said original air date is August 31st, 2018.
Oh, where the hell did I get that date?
I don't know.
All right. I'll do a voiceover and fix it. Thank you for catching that.
Oh, that was last week.
Oh, was it?
So I wonder if you didn't up. Yeah.
I might have. Well, I don't use I use an empty template, but I could have been looking at the date from the last one. It's quite possible. It is because I have on your little card, I have September 30th.
Yeah.
So that must be what I was looking at.
August 31st, 2018.
Okay.
So we can record that again if you want later.
Yeah. Or I can just do a voice.
But I was just thinking about it and I'm like, 2011, that's 12 years ago, but there's only 5 seasons ago or 4.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know why I didn't even think of that. No, that's okay. No, thank you for doing that. So
the dead woman is a threat.
The dead woman. Okay, so now Steve is in the master bedroom with Beth.
Okay.
And she says she feels that she and her husband's personalities are changing. And it's worse when they're in that room. She said they're fine outside the house.
Yeah.
She also says she has felt somebody get in bed with her.
Don't like
Steve
that.
asks, could it be
your husband?
The dogs.
Oh, God, the dogs. Fuck you, Steve.
But they didn't even talk about dogs until he asked that. I didn't know they had them. And she says, no, they don't sleep in her room.
Yeah. Steve, bless his heart. I mean, I get it. You know, he's trying to debunk
you gotta
it.
Ask.
You know,
you gotta ask because somebody in the audience is probably thinking it. And so if he says it, then
yeah.
So she says she has horrible insomnia. And he asks, is there anything else? And I'm like, Steve, she's giving you 5,000 things. What do you mean, is there anything
else? What more do you want, Steve?
But there is. She says she's woken. She wakes up sometimes to a black, tall figure with red eyes staring at her.
Red eyes? Man.
Stares at her for 30 to 40 seconds and then just disappears.
So it's not even phased when she sees it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even disappear when she sees it. It's just like
it keeps staring at her for a while.
Yeah, it keeps staring at her.
Yeah.
That's
she says
scarier.
He said how long and she goes, well, it feels like forever.
Yeah.
But I would guess 30 to 40 seconds.
That's even worse to me because that means it's super bold.
It's like I see you.
It's like I see you looking at me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going anywhere. I'm having the power.
Yeah.
That's scarier to me than
just going poof.
Than just opening your eyes and seeing it and it vanished. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oofta.
Yeah. I would not want to be in this house.
I would not either.
No. So now Amy is in that same bedroom and she sees a woman with light hair being attacked. Beth has strawberry blonde hair. She says she's being strangled and then she's crying.
Oh, well, yeah, I'd be crying too if I was strangled.
I know, right? And then she said the dead chick sleeps here. Experiences would be feeling her in bed with them and making it impossible to sleep.
Oh my God, which is just what Beth described. Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, I wonder if some of these health problems could be because she doesn't sleep.
Maybe.
Because when Steve said, how do you sleep? She said, I don't really.
And it's crazy because I've gotten sick a lot this past year.
Yeah.
And I've been co-sleeping. And my friend who's a doctor is like, you know, it's amazing how much sleep affects your immune system. And when you don't get it, you're more prone to get sick.
Yep.
And now my son started sleeping in his crib all night.
Oh.
And I'm like, I wake up rested and I'm like, what do I do with all this energy?
Wow, that's excellent.
I think that's in part, I mean, part of it's just having a toddler. You're going to get sick, but
yeah.
You know,
but your energy level, that's, sleep is huge.
So important.
It's huge.
You know, it's huge.
I got to do something too, because these fucking dogs, I love having them in the room with me. You know, it's comfy, it's safe, you feel safe.
You feel safe, yeah.
But at the same time, they wake up every couple of hours, and so do I.
Yeah.
And I don't always get back to sleep right away. And then I'll just lay there going, oh, Jesus. And then when my alarm goes off, I'm like, I have my watch, you know, which tracks my sleep. And I'm like, oh, look, I got 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then when I look at the app, it's like, yeah, you had 3.5 hours, but only 15 minutes of that was deep sleep.
And
I'm like, well, then I'm not regenerating my cells or anything at this point.
You're not making enough energy to replace the energy you spend.
Yeah. Which is why I never want to do anything except sit at my desk or sit on the couch and watch TV.
No, it's crazy. So I bet you that's at least part of it.
Yeah, it could be.
She's not getting sleep. Bless her
Yeah,
heart.
that could be her anxiety, depression, all of that stuff. I'm not saying it's her fibromyalgia or her heart cyst, but
and again, we're not saying that that's the only reason.
Right.
People get it, but
no, I
probably
definitely believe. Yeah, I definitely believe the paranormal shit is doing some of this for sure.
But I'm sure the sleep isn't making it better.
Right. It makes it harder to deal with. Yeah.
Bless her. Jeez, this poor family.
I know.
They're being terrorized.
I know. They really are. So Amy says that this lady, dead lady, wants to take over the living woman, the woman that has the heart problem, which is the cyst. She says if that happens, they kind of die in a way then. And now Steve, he's driving. I'm sure there was a ring shot, but I don't remember seeing it. I probably was typing when it happened. He mentions that almost every one of these cases has Native American activity, so he doesn't even bother researching it anymore. However, local professor Dr. Thomas Taylor has told him about a very bloody battle that he thinks Steve will want to hear about. So he goes to talk to him. And this happened right on the client's land.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right on it. Usually it's like close by or
within 1,000
right on
feet.
it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right in the land. So in 1780, there were Shawnee villages. They were right here. They were called Pequot. The area was called Pequot, and this was their land. The Shawnee were British allies who were attacking settlements for the British. And there was this.
I kind of get it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, if you know, you got to play along, or they're going to kill you.
And plus, if you side with the British, then in their minds, I'm wondering if they thought maybe they'll get these people off of our land.
Yeah,
and we can get our land back.
Yeah.
So
this Colonel George Rogers Clark organized a group of 1,000 settlers who drove out. What?
That's a name.
Colonel George
Rogers
Clark. Try that one more time. Colonel George Rogers Clark.
Woofda. I bet he had some lofty expectations put on him.
Well, yeah, they showed his picture and he's like one of those, generals like this, or actually he's a colonel. But with all of the medallions and everything. So decorated. So he got a group of 1,000 settlers who drove out the Shawnee, and there was a really bad battle. The final death toll, 14 of Rogers's men. Clark's men died.
Roger Clark.
13. George Rogers Clark. 13 wounded, but it is believed that the Shawnee lost 3 times that.
Of course they did.
And then
because they're fighting with axes and not guns.
Yeah, Steve had the person showed Steve a drawing of what that battle was like. And yeah, it was some of the Native Americans had guns, but most of them
But
were just
not
little
enough.
axes and stuff.
Not enough to matter.
No, I know. It looked really bad.
Of course it was.
So then the British then also burned
Great.
all of their land, burned
Right,
8,000
sure.
acres of crops so that they could not farm there, and so they had to go somewhere else.
Right.
And most of the surviving Shawnee were displaced and put out in reservations out west.
Yep. Which, to be fair, burning the land was a really stupid thing to do, because if you were going to displace them anyway, you've just destroyed land.
Yeah, now you
yourself.
can't use it either.
Yeah.
Dumb.
That just shows how stupid they were. They'd sabotage themselves just to, quote unquote, sabotage the Native Americans or the indigenous people.
Right.
What is it? Cut off your nose to spite your face?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Or shoot yourself in the foot. Yeah.
Yeah. Idioms. Live them, love them, learn them.
So now Amy says, this is just like the beginning of her scene. She's walking around and she says, "Oh, that's not good." She's
Amy,
back outside.
nothing of this has been good.
Nothing in this episode is good. So she's walking around outside and they show her, she's wearing like galoshes, and they show her walking through, and it's like, it's not winter or anything,
right?
But it's like maybe fall or spring, because they're all wearing coats, but it's not like snow or anything.
Snowy. Yeah.
She says it's muddy, but it's because there's blood and guts and pieces of flesh.
Ooh, that's graphic.
Yeah. And she says, "Now I know that the land has been cursed because of this massacre." And she says, this is symbolic of what the land does to the living who are here. You can't move ahead. You're always going to fall down. And now that the creature has come into existence, it's worse. And this creature is the physical manifestation of the curse.
Okay. I was going to ask if the creature was created because of what happened.
Yep. Which is,
it kind of is like last episode when part of Moses like broke off. It's similar because the curse created a whole entity.
Yeah, isn't that crazy that something that doesn't have life, has energy, I guess, but doesn't have life, can create an entity?
Yeah.
That's bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Bizarre. I don't understand it.
Oh.
Yeah. So now Steve is searching through old records, aka
digging through the archives.
And he finds a woman named Margaret Kiefer.
Okay.
She's the former owner. No, she was not murdered, but she's the former owner, and she died of a condition that started out as a stomach ache. That's what he is originally told. So he goes over to meet with a local genealogist.
Not a gynecologist.
Her name is Natalie Fritz. So Natalie tells him that Margaret and her husband George bought the property in 1816.
Another George.
Yeah.
Lots of Georges.
And then about 6 years later, she was diagnosed with dyspepsia. It was very painful. She died in 1822 at age 49. She died in the home.
Oh.
And because it was 1822, they would have had her wake there.
Right in the living room.
Right in the living room. And she was buried about 1,000 yards from the home in the family cemetery.
I wonder if she got dyspepsia because she didn't drink Coke.
I always thought that was a weird thing, and my dad always used to say, "Oh, I've got a touch of dyspepsia." And I guess I never really thought about what it meant, but I Googled it.
Yeah.
And it's basically, it's indigestion.
Oh.
And so I'm like, well, how did she die of dyspepsia? So I Googled dyspepsia lethal, and I found, despite not being a lethal condition, dyspepsia is still responsible for a large portion of our healthcare costs in the United States. It can also seriously affect your quality of life, especially if your dyspepsia is caused by a chronic or severe underlying condition. And
I wonder if maybe it's one of those things that it's not lethal, but if it goes on for a long period of time, it can cause other issues or become lethal.
Well, like heartburn or, acid reflux can eventually erode your esophagus, and you can get esophageal cancer.
Oh my God, what?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't know that, and I get heartburn literally daily. So
I do too, and it's gotten worse since I got on that medication.
I literally
which
get
is not making me
every
lose a lot of
day.
weight, by the way.
Lame.
But I've lost like 5 pounds, but
another
anyway.
fear unlocked.
Yeah. So that that is, if you suffer from heartburn, you want to have that taken care of.
Okay.
So, but
Boy, this is just a fun episode all around.
Sorry. But you can take stuff for it. I mean, like, to either as a PRN, they call it, which is like as needed, or take something every day so you don't get it.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, again, we're not doctors. Don't listen to anything they say. Don't.
No,
but I do believe that the whole esophageal thing is true, because my friend, the one that lives in Mexico, she was just mentioning that she has had a lot of acid reflux lately, and her doctor was nervous about it because he said it could cause esophageal cancer.
Okay.
Anyway,
great.
So, Amy sees the dead lady again. She looks extremely pale, like she's frozen, and she sees her in her coffin.
Okay.
And she said she must have been viewed here, and she must have lived here.
Oh, so it's Margaret.
So yep. And she said she got something sick, like in her stomach. And she says, oof, very bad stomach. And she said it was so bad it made her feel like she couldn't breathe, like her diaphragm was compressed. And so, and the woman died here. I said that already.
Yeah.
Steve now says another thing that he's interested in is a brutal double homicide. Because all murders are brutal, according to Steve.
Right.
He meets with Carol Rothgeb, who is a local author. And this is the kid death stuff now, so buckle up. I'll try not to go into too much detail. Okay. So on August 22nd, 1992, so this is fairly recent, 2 little girls, Free Oros and Martha Leach, 12 and 11, went for a walk to a bakery and were never seen again. The next day, 2 other kids found their bodies behind the bakery. And they were found nude, bruised, and had been sexually assaulted. Official cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head, and they found shorts that belonged to one of the girls that had been meticulously cut off. The perp was William Sapp. She hands a photo to Steve, and he chuckles and says, if you saw a low-life molester killer in the dictionary, this guy's photo would pop up. He's got like this ugly, like porn mustache.
What's his name? William Sapp?
William Sapp.
Sapp.
Sorry, S-A-P-P. And his middle name is starts with a K, because I Googled him too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's really
like
creepy
Coke
looking.
bottle glasses.
Yeah. He looks a little like, what's his toes? The really, really big guy who fucked his mom's skull.
Ed Kemper.
Ed Kemper. Yep. He looks a little like him, only his hair's lighter. Yeah, he's not good. He's not good. So Amy says something else happened here that was not good. She sees a chalk outline, so she guesses murder. And someone was, she says, very happy about it. He liked to kill things, and it felt really, really good. Carol tells Steve that Sapp, not to be confused with that asshole Suff, who killed 2 of his children, that in the last one I did, and a bunch of women 2 episodes ago. Sapp attacked a woman in 1996, but she lived. They did a DNA test, and it came back as a match to what they found on the little girls. He confessed to not only them, but a whole bunch of others, and talked about cutting off women's jeans and doing it very slowly and savoring it like it was opening a Christmas present.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So he was found guilty of all charges, received 3 death sentences, and has been on death row since 1999. And I looked him up to see if he's still alive. He is. And fun fact, he was apprehended on my birthday in 1996.
Yeah.
But according to Wikipedia, he's still alive.
Yep. He also had children, signed over the rights of them to his wife, although she later relinquished custody of the children.
Oh, no.
They became wards of the state until 2001 when they were placed in a local family.
Oh, what a piece of shit.
My God.
I wonder why she relinquished them. Maybe she was a piece of work too, who knows?
Maybe, and I don't know, I'm just speculating. Maybe she didn't want any association with him.
Yeah.
Which is disgusting and garbage because
for the kids.
They're little kids. Like, it's not their fault that they were born.
Right.
But.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
He did plead not guilty by reason of insanity.
Oh, bullshit.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
a cop-out.
So often bullshit.
Oh,
So
here's
Amy
a
says
link.
this killer
Dave
has
versus
oh,
Sap,
sorry, do you have more to say?
2007. Sorry. Yeah, I'm looking. There's maybe he appealed? Filed. So on June 4th, 2000, you can cut this out.
That's
He
okay.
filed a petition for post-conviction relief. So I'm wondering if he just wanted to be taken off death row.
Mm.
That was in 2004. This is 2017. An appellate court reviews a trial. That's all in like legal jargon.
Yeah.
So,
I did see the state versus SAP legal thing, but I didn't even bother clicking on it because a lot of times I can't. I don't really know what they're saying.
yeah. Oh, I don't know. This is just like a step-by-step of what was happened or what happened in the court. So I
okay.
assume he's asking for his sentence to be downgraded to life versus death row, which at this point, like, he's been on death row for far longer than those babies were alive.
Right.
Kill him.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sorry, kill him.
yeah, I know.
If you're against the death penalty, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to say anything, but for me, I'm for it. And he killed and raped 2 children.
Right.
Kill him.
Right. And he confessed. It's not like they screwed up
There's
and
shadow
there's
of
this
a
innocent
doubt.
man in jail. Yeah. Yeah.
Kill him the same way he killed them. Okay, that's a bit barbaric, but anyways, sorry, that went on a tangent.
That's
Still
okay.
alive in 2023.
Yeah.
Great.
So we're at Amy, and she says this killer has done this before. Matt asks if he interacts with the living, and she says yes. He is capable of getting inside a person. And Matt asks what would happen, and she says, well, he makes you want to stab people.
So wait a minute. So Sap is there?
Uh-huh. He's alive. He's alive in real life, but yeah, there's a piece of him, like in your story.
Like Moses.
Yeah. Piece of him that is still there. And he makes you want to stab people, or he tries to make people hurt themselves or each other. And then she says, this is weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
She says it makes her feel physically sick and she wants to vomit.
Oh, he had 3 children with his wife, Karen. Sorry, I'm done interrupting.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
That happens.
Especially when we get to the reveal and she talks more about him. I'm like, okay. So anyway, now we're at the sketches, and she says she's what she has wanted to sketch is the cursed manifestation that is attacking a woman. And
I don't want to see it though.
And a dead woman lying in bed with a living person.
I'm kind of glad she didn't sketch Sap though, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's kind of a minor player in this whole thing when it comes down to it, and she really talks about it all. Okay, so at the table, it's Josh and his mom. The dad's not there.
Okay.
Amy talks about the creepy male, the creature thing. She said it's disturbed. Or no, wait, sorry. That's not him. Amy talks about the creepy male, which is Sap. He's disturbed. And she said he murdered someone here. And she could feel how he really felt. And she said he really enjoyed killing.
How creepy for Amy to feel that.
I know. And she said he's a wannabe Ed Gein. And then Steve goes in and talks about William Sap. And Steve explains in more detail how he would cut off their pants. Apparently, he cut them off 1 stitch at a time with a scalpel to enjoy it. And Amy says, oh, I can see that.
Oh, my God.
So Steve shows her the photo of Sap and asks if it's him that she saw. And she says, yes, yes. And this is another, I noted this is another one where he's alive. And Josh said he would like to get his hands on this guy. Amy says that she felt nauseous and that people here would too. And Steve brings up that Beth is often nauseous and in fact just threw up that like yesterday.
A couple days ago. Yeah.
Amy's afraid that he could get into someone and influence them to hurt someone else. And Beth says that she feels like she snaps more easily. Amy talks about going in the backyard and how it was hard to walk because of the blood and the shit on the ground. And that's how she knows it's cursed. And then Steve tells about the massacre. and about how the Piqua settlers, Piqua and the settlers, the
fight,
settlers lost
the
16,
war. Yeah.
and the Shawnee lost triple that, and the burning of the land. And Amy says, so the Native Americans put a curse because they kind of got fucked every which way.
Right.
Which is a pretty good way to
Eloquent.
describe
Yeah.
how all of this shit has gone down in this country. Steve asks how the curse can affect the living, and she says it's manifested into a conscious entity. Oh, but she says conscious. A conscious.
Conscious. There's the word. Yep.
Conscious. She said it took on a form, and the curse is working with two other entities, an actual shadow person and a deceased male who used to live here, and all three are working against the family.
Really?
Josh and Beth talk about the shadow figures they've seen. Amy says these three can create anxiety in the living and can get physical. She saw it shoving a person down, and Steve tells her how Beth has been pushed down the stairs. And Beth talks about how she was shoved the time and broke her neck.
Yeah.
And Amy, I have never seen her act quite like this. She goes, what? You broke your neck?
Yeah.
And she's like Home Alone face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Beth explains further that she had to have surgery because there were slivers of bone in her spinal column.
Oh my God.
And she's damn lucky not to be paralyzed.
Yeah.
Steve asks if Amy got a good look at the curse entity, and she says, well, I had a sketch done.
Of course she did.
Okay. I did not put it up in the drive yet, so
all right, just send it in the chat.
I will just send it to you. And okay, so the first sketch, actually this isn't the first sketch, or maybe I just took the pictures differently. Anyway. Okay, so this is the creature that I'm sending right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's
so it's like on someone's back.
It's like hanging off someone's back, and it
kind of has like praying mantis arms.
Yes, those creepy hands.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is where Josh talks about how he was attacked years ago when he lived here. And this is where he got the slap on his face.
Yeah.
And he said he had 3 marks on his cheek. And Amy says, that's weird because the thing has 3 fingers. And if you look at that picture, he has 3 fingers.
Wow.
Yep. And then, there's a close-up too, which I'll post in the socials. But okay. And then Amy says, there's one more person here. This one is super sneaky. She says she lived here in the 20s, extremely sad and depressed in life, and she's miserable in death. She had brown hair. She's wearing a gown. And then Beth says, I've seen her in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. Amy says she first saw her in the coffin and that she died of some kind of illness, possibly with the stomach. It was very painful to breathe. Yep. And that because she's so attached to the coffin, that makes Amy think she was displayed here. And Steve says, I think I know who you're talking about. It's Margaret Kiefer, or Kiefer, I guess it was pronounced. She had an infected ulcer that ended up being dyspepsia, which makes more sense. She died in 1822 at 49 years old. Now, Amy said this woman lived here in the 20s. She didn't say 1920s.
Right.
She said the 20s. And this woman died in 1822. So maybe that's a stretch to say that she got that one right, but maybe she just got the year goofed. I don't know. Anyway. Amy explains Amy says that this is who she saw, and she explains why she's dangerous and that she likes to get in bed with the living. And Beth says that she has felt something on her bed, and Amy shows this sketch.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And when Steve opens it up, he goes, I don't even want to show you this. So it's this woman laying in bed, and there is literally a coffin in the middle of the bed and a woman inside it. And then the live woman is laying next to her. And then Beth looks at it and she goes, this is why I don't sleep.
Yeah.
Amy says it wants to take over Beth to create a new life for herself. And she's slowly chipping away at elements of Beth and replacing them with pieces of her. And I thought Pieces of Her might be a good title.
Yeah.
Beth might experience, or others may perceive, small personality changes at first, brings on depression, etc. So Beth might perceive, or others might, Beth may experience, or others may perceive small personality changes at first, brings on depression, etc. Beth says that that's definitely happening. And you can see, they show Josh and he's like, yep. And this woman's goal is to eventually take over Beth's body. And Josh says he knew something was happening. Something bad was here, but he didn't know it was this bad.
I hope that I have a feeling Amy's going to tell him, like, you can't stay here. You have to leave.
Actually, no. I will. Spoiler alert, this one ended happy.
Good.
Give me that right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So here's what she said. They need to bring in a male medium to move on the woman, Margaret. And the medium must call on her dead relatives to come get her.
Okay.
And when she sees them, she'll be happy, and that will make her want to go, and she'll go, and everything will be fine with her.
Okay.
As for the other thing, a Shawnee descendant has to come in and bless the land to get rid of the curse.
Yeah.
The shadow man will leave too, because he's not directly related to this house, and he will leave and try and find another victim.
Who is the shadow man again?
He's one of the ones that's working with the creature. He's working with he's working with
him, but we don't know who.
And with a dead guy.
Is that part of SAP?
Well, I thought so, but here's what she says. Well, no, because she says the other dead guy working with them will leave too.
Okay.
And then Beth asks about the murderer.
Yeah.
Who's not the same person.
Okay.
And Amy says, he was only here because I was here. Once we leave, he will be gone. I'm like, why?
So is he following Amy then?
He must be, but hopefully he didn't attach to her and go home with her. But
I feel like
why
even
were
if
they
he
experiencing stuff if he was only here because Amy was here? Unless they were experiencing that stuff the week that Amy was there. You know?
Right.
Anyway, so Steve goes, are you going to take Amy's advice? And Beth says, yes, I want my life back. And Josh says, we will get it done. And I'm like, ugh, famous last words. Everybody always says that.
Right. We'll do it for sure.
For sure. And then 2 months later, we'll think about it. No.
Yeah.
This time, Josh and Beth followed all of Amy's advice, and the activity has stopped.
Good.
Yeah. The happy one.
Good.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know. It was a rough one, but it was a good ending.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so let's quick do... Oh, wait. Sorry. Do you know what you're doing next week?
Yes, I found it.
Okay.
I'm doing season 12, episode 6. It's called Last Call.
Last Call. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm doing that one.
And then I need to pull up the Alanisms and think of a number.
Let's do 49.
49.
Isn't that how old Margaret was when she died?
Yes, it was.
Let's do 49. All
right, 49. 49 it is. Okay. This doesn't match this episode at all, but it's hilarious anyway. It's a short one. Oh, no, I lost it. 49. What happened? Okay. Oh boy. Oh shit. I dropped it between the cheese.
First of all, I love that he has so many pieces of cheese to drop stuff between.
Yeah,
them.
in between the cheese.
That touches me because I just had cheese before we started.
Yeah, you did.
I love cheese.
I do too.
That's a good one.
I couldn't live without cheese.
Oh,
I love cheese so much.
Yeah.
I know. It is. Okay. Well, all right, everybody, thanks for joining us. We finally got a happy one here.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time, and stay safe and stay warm.
Safe and warm and cozy.
Unless you're somewhere warm, then stay cool.
You're warm, then cool. Hope you're cool. Yeah, we have one of our listeners, Carrie, is
in Texas, right?
I think she's in Texas.
I'm sorry, Carrie, if it's not.
And
I gotta
and she talks about how it was. She gave us a shout out via our group chat because she knew the snow was coming, and she's like, it's really hot here. To be honest with you, I will take snow over heat any day. And any day.
Nope.
Hate being hot.
Nope. I would be hot any day of the week. Let's see. She said 95 right here, right now. So she doesn't say where she's at. Oh my God. I really hope it's Texas.
I think she's in Texas. If she's not, I'll do a voiceover.
If it's not, I'm so sorry.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next week.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a suggestion for which episode of the Dead Files we should cover next, or if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.